Hey everybody, MegaBro here. Welcome back to another episode of ARMA 3 editing. If you've been following along in the series so far, you'll notice that there's a little bit of changes to where we left off with the last episode. There's a couple reasons for that. One reason is that my SSD took a dump on me and corrupted the entire SQM. And I did not have protection on for backups as far as previous versions is concerned, so I was unable to recover that file. So I've actually gone ahead and rebuilt this, but I did take it a couple steps further. The video I had recorded before my SSD took a dump is also corrupted, so that's going to reflect those changes here. So what we're going to do is we're going to just have a quick overview of the map so far, as well as get started on a few more things that we need to do. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty as far as what we're going to do to flesh this out. I've come up with some more ideas of some things I'd like to do that's going to take maybe a little bit of time to implement, a little bit of research, but I hope this is helpful and is informative to kind of watch the thought process that goes through. So we'll go over just a general overview of our mission here. Overview mission is helicopter crashes. Units are spread out upon disaster with limited ammunition. They will just be starting with a pistol. I was gonna actually start them without radios, but I think I'm gonna keep the radios in there. I think not having radios is gonna be a little difficult. I think it would drag the mission out too far, like too long. So I'm gonna go. I need to add those radios back, and actually we'll make sure we add that to our task list, which I'll bring up after we get through with this quick overview. So we got our units here. They will start at a random location. We can see these are tied to nothing, but that's because they're invisible. But those are random start locations, so they can start at any one of those points. I have no idea which one. We have our civilian units here, which maintain a add action command of an interview that goes to a script that is basically giving a yes or no to, does this guy know where our intel unit is. We'll go over that a little bit later. We have our intel unit here. He is holding an added action of intel. He's basically the first objective. He's going to say where the enemy optional AA encampments are, as well as where the general is. So your first task is actually to meet up with your squad and find him. We have a couple triggers over here. This is the trigger for our first task. So what you can see here is this is complete upon objective 1. We have a public variable that gets set to true inside of our intel script. And then also when this is activated, it sets off these, which sets our markers for the AA encampment and for our second task to show up on the map. The set task module destination is not working for me, and I'm not entirely sure why, but I'll worry about that later. And then we have our task here. Our trigger is set to this task that says when this task or trigger is fired, this task will succeed, thus making our original task succeeded. We also have this trigger synced to a optional task for the anti-air, which just means when this trigger fires, it will create this task. If this trigger is fired, which is our optional task 1 trigger, with a condition of if AA1 and AA2 are less than 1, which means that if they're completely dead, it'll fire off this trigger, which will set our optional task to succeeded. This trigger is also synced to our create a task for our second task. This has a completed trigger as if our officer unit is killed. His name is task 2 unit. It is going to create this public variable of objective 2 and set it to true. That's going to mark that it is synced here, so when that fires off, this will succeed our task. And then we have an ending trigger here, which is when objective 1 and objective 2 are basically set to true, it's going to fire off our end mission trigger. So we have our enemy unit up here. We have our AA encampments here. There are markers set to them. They are invisible, so you can't see them. But that is a basic overview of what we have so far. Now, last episode I talked about kind of creating a guideline or a map of how we want to get things done or what we want to get done. I'm pretty forgetful, especially when I take a couple days off from editing. I'll forget what I was working on. So this is a good way to keep track of my progress. I can add things if I just think of them off the bat that I think would be cool addition to the map. Last thing I forgot to mention is the civilian intel unit also has random spawn locations with a marker that is attached to him. And we'll go over all that in our init file real quick. First thing I'm going to show you here is our little notes, like our task list here. So you can see we got some notes in here. A couple of things that I've added. Looking at doing maybe a conversation structure for our interview question. Basically say, try to talk to the unit. Unit's gonna have like a random value applied that says if it's 1, then he'll want to talk to you. If it's 2, then he won't, etc. I think that would be a little bit more immersive. And then maybe do some scroll wheel dialogue options for that. Next thing I added in here, eliminating the AA allows us to call an evac chopper. So basically what this will do, we can set up a trigger to fire off a script that allows you to call in evacs. That's going to take a little bit of work. That'll probably be a lot more scripting involved in that guy, especially since we'll have to figure out like an evac chopper script. I'm sure there's plenty of them out there. We'll find one that'll work for us. And then what we also need to do is that means that we're going to need to alter our ending trigger. So how I'm thinking this is going to work. We'll create an if-then statement that is in our ending trigger. So we'll have our ending trigger here. Let's bring it up just so maybe it makes a little bit more sense. I can just minimize this. I'll bring it up over here. Ending trigger. So basically what we'll say is that when objective 1 and 2, which are main objectives, are completed, we're actually going to set this to be a script. Okay, so this on activation is going to be a script, and that script is going to have a if-then statement. It's just going to say if our optional objective is not completed, we're just going to fire this off right away. Okay, and then what we'll do is our then statement, or probably getting this mixed up, we'll get it figured out, but basically we'll have the second part of the statement say that if objective 3 has been completed, then don't fire this off yet. Okay, we're going to allow them to call an evac chopper. When the evac chopper gets in, that will be the thing that causes the mission to end. Might be a little bit tricky, but it seems like it'll work inside my head, but that's on our list of things to do. We need to alter our description ext file. We'll go over that later. And then we need to kind of do our mission author names, make it tidy up, make it look pretty. Definitely need to do that. So we got a few more things on here on our list. You can see I haven't checked off very much. There's more that we can check off, but actually we've already done that. We already set up our main objective. We're actually not gonna do this. We're gonna keep the officer as a static, so we don't need to worry about that. Yeah, need to do that stuff. Still need to set up our briefing and backstory. Yeah, okay. So I think we're good on that front. Let's go ahead and bring up our init. We'll go over that real quick. Let me go ahead and just bring all this up. Give me a moment. Let's bring that guy up. So we'll go over this real quick. We'll start with our init file here. So we can see here we have this starts at the mission. Oh, I need to pull that off of the unit because it's actually in our. Well, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know why this is in our init to begin with. Let's just remove that. We have this spawn function here in our init that is basically attaching the marker that we created to follow this intel unit wherever he spawns. So that way it knows exactly where he is at all times. So what this is doing is saying, hey, spawn this while the unit is not null, or the not is null, the unit, so which means that he's active basically. And what you want it to do is you want to do take this intel marker, set the position to intel unit, and then sleep, repeat that every 0.5 seconds, so it's constantly updating. It doesn't really take a hit to the server performance, it doesn't seem like, so we should be okay on that. Got some other stuff in here if we want to uncheck this for our briefing. By the way, these forward slashes are for commenting out, which means this code will not be executed, so you can put notes, etc. in there. We don't want to enable saving, we don't want to enable sentences because it's annoying when they keep talking all the time. Another briefing type thing, this is part of the F3 structure. This is a remove variable script that's a part of the F3 scripting stuff. This is great because it will remove dead bodies off the map after a certain amount of time, and it really helps server performance, at least I found. This is join in progress, just that so things execute correctly. Somebody starts on the, after the mission starts. Got a radio framework here, we'll go over that later, as well as we have a mission marker teleport function, which just allows us to teleport around on the map, so that way we can test things. Let's go ahead and save that. So this is our gaining intel, so when we talk to our intel unit, this is what fires off, makes our public variable of objective 1, sets that to true, and then removes the action from our intel unit. Easy enough. This one's a little bit more complicated. This is when we do our interview commands. We have a random number, we have the unit, we have the all units. I've covered this in another video, so I'm just going over it real quick. We're just saying enter a random number. If it's equal to 1, then do this. If it's not, do this. So we're going to probably be fleshing this out quite a bit over the course of the next few videos. I imagine if we do a conversation structure, it's going to take us a little bit more time. Got to finagle a few things, but I think it'll be cool. I think it'll be fun. Good learning experience for sure. So there we have it. That's a quick overview of what we've done in this mission. Encampments are set, objectives and tasks are set for the most part. Now it's just a matter of fleshing things out. We have the basis overview. We need to add units, we need to add our ammo boxes, we need to add text, so a lot to do, a lot to flesh out. So even a small mission can take a lot of work depending on how much you want to put into it. You could keep doing things over and over and over again, but at some point you gotta call it finish, right? We'll also need to set up waypoints for these guys. So let's take a quick look at our structure here. And I think what we're gonna go ahead and start working on now is a conversation structure. I think that's what we want to do. I think we can do that, right? I mean, sounds like a good idea. So what we need to do, here's what we currently have. We currently have it selecting a random number between 1 and 4. Let's do, think of the best way that we want to kind of flesh this out. First of all, let's make a backup of our original. Just gonna do backup just in case. Start editing things in, it might get a little bit messy, so rather than have to undo everything, we just use that backup file. Alright, let's think this out. Okay, so if it's equal to 1, it does this. Let's do... Okay. What we're going to do is... let's start with... Okay, let's switch this to 2. We're gonna give it a 50-50 chance here. Number between 1 and 2. What we're actually going to do as well is we're going to switch the add action command to question. So let's do, if random number is 1, then what we want to do here is, let's go ahead and, okay, I'm going to confuse myself if I keep this stuff all in here. Let's go ahead and just get rid of that for now. Let's do this. Trying to think of, so if it's 1, he's gonna want to answer questions. Just trying to think of the best wording that we can do for this. So if it's 1, then what we'll want to do is we'll want to do underscore unit add action. Let's add an action of ask about. Let's just do filler, because I don't know what I want his name to be yet. I'm trying to think of what the best way to do this would be. Okay, ask about filler. I guess we can just, I don't really want to separate this out into a bunch of different scripts, because I was going to say we could have this execute to another script, which actually would probably, I think that's actually going to be a cleaner way of doing this. So scripts, we're going to name this ask about. Okay, we are back. Alright, so ask about filler. And then we'll also want to do a add action of maybe we can see if he knows where any weapon caches are, because you're gonna have limited. What else would we like for us to be able to ask? trying to think. I mean, I can't think of anything else that we'd really wanna. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, maybe we could have something there. So, basically, if this is 1, then we're gonna have it fire off this. So we need to create a new script for that. Okay, so what we want to do here is we want to say, let's say, go away, American scum. And then remove the action from him. Let's just go ahead and clean this up a little bit. We're going to go ahead and pop that up there. We'll just keep this down here. It's not hurting anything. Okay. So 50-50 chance that he's going to want to talk to you. And actually what we want to do is is there something I can answer for you? Okay. We'll comment these later. Okay. That looks good. Let's go ahead and create a new SQL file here. Ask about filler. Okay. So we're going to need to do copy paste in here is going to work pretty well. So we still want these defined. And then we're going to do the same thing here. Let's just set up our else statements here. Get our formatting correct so that way we can fill in the spaces. Ask about filler. So if it's 1, we'll say X. Oh yeah. Last I heard he was in I know of filler. Last I heard he was bumped up. Let's see. I know filler. Oh, Mark. Hand me your map. Mark, where I saw him last. Okay. We actually need to remove the add action to on here. Forgot to do that. Move action 0. Because we only need one. Well, wait. 1 adds that action. Wait, yeah. No, I'm right. Okay. Let's, then what we'll do is, okay, detail units 1 net marker that show up. Unit. We need the remove this from all units that have it. Let's just copy paste. And then we'll say Thanks. I've never heard of filler before. Sorry. Score unit. Action 0. Okay. So let's just look and see what we got here. Make sure we're looking good. If one, is there something I can answer for you? Fire this. Add the action, or else. So we go away, American Scum, remove the action, and then if when we ask about filler, if it's a 1, then he says I know of him, so his mark is 1. Remove the action from all the other units. Or else they'll say, I've never heard of filler before, sorry. Alright. And then I think what we can do is we'll do like a couple more random numbers. So it'll have like different, we can set some to be like, maybe 1 and 4 will give this, but it will be like different text. Which I think we'll do next, but let's just make sure this is working. Let's go ahead and test this out. Interview you. Go away, American Scum. They don't like me very much, do they? You got a 50-50 chance of somebody liking me. See, now we can ask about filler. Oh. Oh. That's weird. What broke? Intel unit. Oh. Ha. I think it's Intel. What's the name of that? Intel unit marker. That's why. Whoops. And we forgot quotes. Whoops. Okay. Let's try this again. We don't have to go all the way back to that editor to get the init scripts to fire again, so makes testing a little bit easier. Got our explodey helicopter over there. Oh, made him scatter. I know a filler. Hand me your map. I'll mark where he is. And there we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Looks good. Okay, so we know it works. So let's give ourselves some more. We're not gonna. I think we can get them to talk locally and not through hints. And that's the next thing that we want to kind of do. So next episode, we're gonna go ahead and finish fleshing this out. We're gonna add some more random values that are just gonna have different text. Some of them will succeed, some of them will fail. So that way every time we talk to them, we're not getting the same message every single time. So thanks for tuning in. See you guys next episode.